I get overwhelmed from simply just existing. And that is not something that you need when you are a girl on a glow up mission trying to become the very best version of yourself. When you've got shit to do, if you are constantly overwhelmed, you will know that you just can't get anything done while you're in this state. Now, as a highly sensitive girl, it does not take a lot to stress me out and overwhelm me. Like, in the day and age that we live in of TikTok and social media, I feel like there is just so much information out there, so much sensory overload just constantly, and that is a recipe for disaster for sensitive people because we get overwhelmed so much faster than normal average people. So if we don't know how to manage that and deal with that, we can feel like we are literally crazy and lead ourselves in this cycle of self-despair and self-hatred and shame, feel really bad about ourselves, and then we also just don't get anything done. So I want to end and break these cycles for you guys because I feel like I have finally gotten to a point where I know how to manage these feelings and avoid overwhelm at all costs in order for me to be able to have enough energy to take on all of my goals and all of my dreams and glow up into the best version of myself. Okay, so the first tip that I want to share with you guys that has really helped me overcome overwhelm and not get overwhelmed as often is to learn how to throw money at your problems. A lot of the time, we value money over our own peace of mind to the point where we literally scrimp and save, trying to save all of our pennies in order to get the best possible outcome or the best possible result, when really we don't always need to save money. We need to save our mindset and our peace of mind. I don't know if it was just how I was brought up. I was brought up with parents who very much instilled it in me that I have to be very vigilant with money and that money doesn't grow on trees and that you need to find like the best possible deal and the best value for the best price and blah blah blah. And I very much lived by that, but it got to the point where I just wasn't doing anything. Like, I wasn't actually spending money in an effective way. I was actually overthinking so much that I would spend money, and the thing that I spent the money on I would be disappointed in because I'd already spent all of that time preparing and researching and things like that. So when it didn't live up to my standard of what I held it to, I was disappointed. And the reality is that a lot of things in life are going to disappoint you, and I think sometimes the more time you spend stressing out and pouring your energy into the tiny little things that don't really matter at all, you are just setting yourself up really for overwhelm and failure. Sometimes I feel like it's really good just to kind of lean into what feels right and lean into your intuition and just trying things out, not worrying so much about saving money and trying to get the best possible outcome, because you're gonna have to try and fail in order to know what works and in order to know what you like and what you want. And I think the more you just kind of put yourself out there and you just do things and don't think about it too much, the more you can just kind of get out of this freeze nervous system response and actually just do and learn how to live life and learn how to navigate making mistakes and things like that. Now, this links in with overwhelm because I do think that when you're overthinking things too much, it is overwhelming. And this one thing has really led to quite a lot of stress and overwhelm for me because I just spend too long thinking about things. I spend too long thinking about what is the best deal and what's the best option. So the past couple of years, and I think it really helps that I'm with a partner who also has this mentality, but the past couple of years, I really just like to choose peace over problems and over chaos and thinking too much, and I just do things. Like, I will literally just throw money at my problems. If a problem arises, I don't even allow myself really to get stressed about it. I just throw money at it. And I know that not everyone's in a situation or a position to do that. I'm not really in a position to do that. A lot of it has gone on a credit card, not gonna lie, but that is just how I choose to kind of live my life, because I don't want to be spending all of my time worrying about things that just don't matter and that aren't that important. And I'm not saying get into debt. I'm not saying follow in my footsteps and get into debt, but I genuinely think if you can, if you're in a position to, throw money at your problems and just leave it at that. Don't stress about it any more than you have to stress about it. Now, this leads on to my next point, which is to decipher what is a good use of your energy and what is not. This is going to help you so much when it comes to preserving your mental state and not being overwhelmed and overstimulated at every little thing. You cannot afford, especially if you're a sensitive person, You cannot afford to be spending all of your energy on pointless shit, such as caring what people think, caring about other people's opinions, whatever, being embarrassed about certain things, what else? People pleasing, making sure that other people are okay, all of these things that we naturally do as sensitive people who are probably empaths as well. It just wastes so much energy, and we don't have that much energy to be pouring into things that don't matter. We need to be really harnessing our energy and pouring it into the things that are going to propel us and get us further in life and get us to where we want to be. I really want you to go throughout life with an energy of, if this doesn't serve me, if it doesn't get me close to my goals, then I am not interested in spending any energy on it. And if I have to, if it's a non-negotiable, then I want to spend the least amount possible on this situation. So when you are constantly complaining about certain situations, you're complaining about your life circumstances, which, don't get me wrong, we all need to complain at some point, and sometimes it is okay to complain. I'm all about a good complain, a good bitch, a good moan, love it. But sometimes you need to just stop in your tracks and understand that that energy is energy that you are spending. It's currency. You are giving that currency to that situation, that negative situation, and the universe is just going to magnify whatever you are dwelling and focusing on and pouring all of your energy into. So you really need to get so serious about deciding where you are going to spend your energy and where you're not, and making sure that everything that you do really aligns with your goals and where you want to be as much as humanly possible, because I know that life gets in the way. I have a 9-to-5 job which I don't particularly want to be doing, and I have to do a lot of things that I don't want to do to get by, and that's fine. But because of that, I really have to be so fucking serious about where my energy is being spent. I truly think you do just get to a point in your life where you think, like, I genuinely do not give a shit. Like, I really could not care less what other people think of me. Like, I have gotten to this point, you know, guys, where I just really don't care. And I used to really care so much what people thought about me. Like, it used to cripple me with anxiety and fear and dread. I used to want everyone to like me, and I used to care so much about what other people think. And I do still, to a certain extent, care, because I'm a human being. But I've genuinely gotten to the point where if I am acting in alignment and doing things from the goodness of my heart, I could not give a shit if Sally over there doesn't like what I'm doing. Like, she can go and do one. I'm gonna just carry on doing me. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna focus on pouring all my energy into my creative endeavors and my life and everything that I want in life. And I'm just gonna leave Sally to it. Sally can deal with her own shit that she's got going on, or she can just bitch and moan about me, whatever. I could not care less. And I really want you guys to adopt that mentality too, because it's so freeing and it's so liberating to get to the point where you genuinely just don't have time for it. You need to get so busy with your personal goals and your endeavors in life that you genuinely just don't have time for it. I think that was the key for me in really not caring about what other people think, because I'm just too busy to care. Like, I don't have enough time to care and to bitch and moan about certain situations because I've got things to do. And I really encourage that to be your situation too. Obviously, if you are spending all of your energy in negative situations, you are 10 times more likely to be overwhelmed, which is why I'm speaking about this in the first place. So you just need to make sure that you're keeping your energy expenditure flowing in a positive direction and not in a negative direction that is going to keep you stressed out and dysregulated. My third point is to practice a little bit of restraint when it comes to free will. As a girl who wasn't allowed to do anything when I was a teenager and a kid, I was very much bubble wrapped, and I wasn't allowed to go out. I didn't have a social life. I couldn't go to all the parties and things like that. When I turned 18, and I finally had this freedom to do the things that I want to do, the things that I've been restricted from all of my life, I really just took full advantage of that, and I just lived life to the fullest in my 18-year-old brain. It's not how I would live my life to the fullest now by any means, but I just like went out all the time. I would drink all the time. I would just do things in surplus or in excess, and I would overdo everything. I think you do get to a point where you realize, obviously, when you're doing all of these pleasurable things and things that you really want to do because you've got free will and you can just do those things, you get to a point where you realize that it's not serving you. It does actually make you miserable because you are completely exhausting your dopamine receptors to the point where things don't even bring you joy anymore because you are completely just rinsing it and experiencing so much pleasure in every single moment. Sometimes we have to really exercise a little bit of restraint when it comes to our free will and have a bit of stoicism and a bit of discipline in not doing the things that we want to do all of the time, and understanding that the things that we should be doing to regulate ourselves and not be overwhelmed probably aren't going to feel good. They're not going to feel exciting. They're going to feel really boring. Like, if you're overwhelmed and you're kind of addicted to that chaos, then you're not going to want to sit there and meditate and be in your head at all. Like, that is going to feel like a nightmare to you. So you have to kind of know that the things that you want to do, yeah, they're going to feel soothing in that moment, but they're not actually for the greater good, and they're not actually going to make you feel good. You really have to get to know your body and what your body wants and your body's cues, and do the things that you need to do in order to regulate yourself and in order to kind of come down from that overwhelm and the overstimulation and really just ground yourself. Otherwise, you will find yourself just constantly stuck in these cycles where you feel helpless, you feel stuck, you feel really just chaotic and crazy, and we don't want that. We really don't want that for us at all. I think for me as a 26-year-old adult, I no longer have the desire to like go out drinking and exercise my free will in that kind of way. But my new thing that I love doing is, not new, but like in my recent adulthood, I really love learning. Like, I love learning about self-development. I love learning about the human mind, psychology, the human body, health, wellness, everything like that. I love learning so much. And I would say that this began in like late 2022. No, in fact, like 2021, I think. I really just loved learning things, and I would go to work and I would listen to podcasts literally all day long. Like, I would sit there at work and I'd like be nice to people, whatever. People, I get on with everyone. So I just felt comfortable to put my headphones in and just kind of get on with my work, but listen to podcasts at the same time. And I used to listen to these like 3-hour long Andrew Huberman style podcasts all day long. Like, when one finished, I would put another one on and another one on. And I thought that this was like great, really healthy, whatever. And I guess in the grand scheme of vices, it is. But I didn't realize that I was actually inundating my mind with information, and it was making me unwell, quite literally. Like, it was making me really stressed out, really burnt out. I constantly felt like I just wanted to learn more and more and more, and it just wasn't beneficial for me. I also recently went through a phase where I would wake up every single morning. I had a reminder set on my phone to sit down and watch manifestation videos and really vigilantly take lots of notes and learn it and really take it in. Like, I would watch the video, I'd take notes as I went along, pause it, whatever. And then afterwards I would go over my notes and I would really study them, and then I would go over them at the end of the week. And that was all well and good. It was very stimulating for my mind, which loves to be stimulated. But I genuinely think that that contributed to the burnout that I experienced just before I went on my break from YouTube. I experienced such burnout from that. And I think it was just like over the course of the past couple of years that I have been in that mindset of just constantly learning and wanting to know more and more information. Whereas now, I'm at the point where I just don't want to consume as much as I once did. Like, I do still enjoy social media. I enjoy watching YouTube videos as and when, but I really can't watch them as much anymore. Like, I don't watch self-development videos anymore because it's just too overwhelming and like too much information and stressful, and we don't necessarily need to be taking in that much information all the time. So what I find really helps me with this is, obviously it's not the easiest to kind of transition from being really overstimulated and like exciting your brain constantly to going into complete zen boredom. So what I like to do is to kind of go on like silent walks. So I'll just walk without any music or podcast or anything like that. That has been beautiful at the moment. I have loved that so much. I also like to listen to frequency music, which I also mentioned in one of my last videos. I find that frequency music really regulates me, really calms me down, and it kind of settles my mind when I don't want to be in pure silence. It allows me to just kind of like focus on the sounds that are happening. And there is a lot of benefits in sound frequencies and music therapy. Like, it genuinely has scientific results, and like it does things to your body that helps you calm down. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just know that that's what works for me. It really has helped me for so many years now. I was mentioning in my last video, like when I feel nauseous, I will type in nausea frequency music and I'll listen to that, and it genuinely stops me from being nauseous. It's like the only thing that will soothe me. So if I have any other ailment, like a headache or like a cold, a stuffy nose, I will literally type it in and I'll listen to the sleep frequency or the frequency music of it, and it just helps me so much. It really soothes me, and I don't understand what the science is, but it works for me, so I really recommend trying that out. And yeah, I just think like discipline in general, having routines, having things to keep you accountable, having goals to keep you accountable will really help. Being organized, which I also have a video on if you're interested in organization as an overstimulated girl. But yeah, it is really just about kind of choosing boredom a little bit and exercising your free will in a way that is going to benefit you and actually care for you rather than what feels good in the moment. The next point that I wanted to talk about, which I've already brushed over briefly, is the beauty of silence. Silence is truly like the best thing that you can do when it comes to feeling overwhelmed. I found that when I was in a very crazy place in my life, a very hectic, a very unaware, unintentional phase of my life, which is essentially from like 18 to about 24, I just used to constantly need noise. I needed to be around people all the time. I didn't like being on my own. I was constantly watching TV. I would literally fall asleep to TV, which is wild because I really struggle to sleep with the TV on now. And when I was in the car, I would constantly be listening to music, and the music would be so loud, guys. Like, I genuinely think that I've done permanent damage to my ears from listening to music that loud. But it was just like the only way to escape my thoughts. Whereas now, like, I don't resist my thoughts anymore. Like, I don't feel the need to escape them because I have done that difficult work of being with them and sitting with them and going on like a healing journey, which I know is very like cliche or whatever, but I do think like when you first embark upon a healing journey, as much as it's a lifetime thing, the first couple of years of like awakening to things that you've not really realized before, they're so fucking hard, and you really have to sit with a lot of discomfort that you've been running from for so many years, and it's really difficult. And it's not like that for me anymore. Like, I don't find it so difficult because I am used to being in silence and I'm used to sitting with my emotions and the difficult feelings. Obviously I'm not perfect. I have my bad days. I have days where I do just want to escape it all, and that is fine. We've got to do what we can do, like do what is best for us. But I truly think that learning to be in silence and learning to just like not constantly drown out all of your thoughts is really going to help just quieten your mind and allow you to just not be overstimulated all the time and overwhelmed at everything. So like when you're washing the dishes, just use that as a time to just be silent and in your own thoughts and just appreciating what you're doing, being in the present moment. It sounds so cliche and so like cheesy, I guess, but it genuinely helps me. Like these little micro moments throughout the day where I can just be silent, like when I'm at the traffic light in my car and I'll be listening to my music and all of a sudden I just get this urge to turn it off because it's too much, it's too overwhelming. And I never had those cues before. Like I never really understood how to like regulate myself or when I needed to be in silence. I think a lot of us as well are low-key addicted to stress. I was definitely addicted to stress and I low-key still am a little bit now. It's so funny because recently me and my boyfriend have gotten into like gaming, you know, like little couples co-op games. We're really enjoying it. It's so funny. We've been playing Overcooked and now we're playing It Takes Two. Anyway, so we've been playing these games and I've always been very much like not a gamer. Like my nervous system resorts to being in like a freeze mode, and I just don't know how to deal with certain things. But I noticed like we were playing these games and they were so fucking stressful for me, and like so high, like fast paced. If you've played Overcooked, you will know that it is quite stressful. It's really funny, but it's really stressful. And I looked at my watch, at my little like fitness watch thing, and my heart rate actually went down when I was so stressed. But when I'm calm, it goes up a little bit. And I don't know what that means, but I kind of took that as if like I must be addicted to stress. Like I must be so used to stress, and stress feels so comfortable and familiar to me that I can actually relax and my heart rate actually goes down, which is so funny. Like that is so hilarious to think. And finally, to kind of tie this all together, I feel like it is very important to recognize your body's cues and listen to your body. Your body is telling you so many things throughout the day that you don't even realize if you are not listening to it. You have to actively take the time to get to know yourself and understand yourself and your body, so you know what you need to do in the event of being overwhelmed and overstimulated or stressed out or sad or whatever feeling that you're feeling. It is the most beautiful feeling to know yourself inside and out and know what your body needs when you're feeling a certain emotion. And it's going to take time. It's a lifelong process. I'm still getting to know how to deal with certain uncomfortable emotions. I've had a lot of things this year that have really brought up emotions that I've never felt before, and grief and pain and things like that that I have never, like, I kind of have processed before in the past as a kid, but I feel like experiencing grief as an adult, it kind of brought everything back up again, and like all these uncomfortable feelings that I didn't know how to process, like I am still learning, but I do feel like it is such a beautiful feeling to know yourself and know your body and know how to like navigate it and know how to calm it down and relax. I especially find this helpful if you are an all or nothing person who is either like a crazed mad scientist or you're literally like a non-verbal recluse. That is essentially me. Like there is no in between really. I mean, I guess there is now, like a little bit more. I'm a little bit more regulated now, but like I do think that the way my mind works, I am very all or nothing. So because of that, because of like how my mind seems to operate naturally, like its natural factory settings, I guess, it's so important for me to understand myself and understand when I need rest and when I need to just chill the fuck out and do nothing. And I feel like this point really just ties together all the things that I've been saying, and I think it's the underlying theme of this video, but just to understand yourself is so crucial when it comes to dealing with overwhelm and avoiding overwhelm in the future. Once you become aware of what things make you feel, you will gradually get to know how to navigate that experience if you go through it again or if you go through similar again. And it's all just a process. So trust the process. You have absolutely got this. These tips are going to really help you in your glow up journey, in regulating yourself and just allowing yourself to just relax and ground yourself, reclaim your energy back and pour it into the things that really matter and that are really important. We can't afford to be overwhelmed all the time, girlies. We cannot. It's taking too much of our energy, which our energy is already limited anyway. I think I've spoken about this in a video before, but sensitive people have limited energy. We don't have as much energy reserves as the average person would, because we're feeling things more deeply than the average person would. We see things that the average person doesn't see. We feel things that the average person doesn't feel. So that is why we don't have as much energy. So we need to be so careful of where we're spending it. I need to stop talking now because I've got a sore throat. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Let me know what you thought of this video and if it helped you at all. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.